Welcome back to my daily vlog where I take you inside of my life as an entrepreneur and an investor, documenting myself juggling my family, my fitness, and this idea of the future of work. So in this episode was really interesting. It's really short. It's a short episode, but I decided to start a rap beef with myself. Yeah, I said it. I decided to start a rap beef with myself. With all of this, this rap battling going on with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, I decided to start a rap beef with me. Check it out. So today is going to be a really light day. Heading to the gym for about an hour or so just to get a nice little sweat in. And then I'm going to see if I can post up somewhere. Where I was going to go, I just found out that they're closed for renovations today. So that plan just got canceled. So I'll figure something out, but it's raining out here. This weather is so unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get. You got to just be grateful for whatever you get. But let's go. Whew. Had a really late night last night. Was pulled into this whole Kendrick and Drake beef. But so my group chats, my text messaging was popping last night, going back and forth with friends about the beef. But I think there's a bigger picture than what we're just seeing with Drake and Kendrick. There's a bigger picture in terms of for the hip hop culture itself. Let me change this up a little bit. There's a line being drawn in the sand, and it seems like the industry or the culture is being shuffled around. You have the industry and you have the culture, and they've always been married. The industry and the culture have always been married, but there's a line being drawn in the sand. And my observation is this is not just going on in music. This is going on across industries. So there's something bigger at play than just a rap beef. And I'm not here to try to be no conspiracy theorist or anything, but there are powers that be. The power is being shifted. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing power being shifted. There's a book that I read called, I think I might have mentioned this already, called Future Shock. And Future Shock was written by Alvin Toffler, who was a futurist in the 60s. And he described this power shift on when the old and when the new, we're battling, jockeying for power. And the shock that happens as we're moving into the future. I see a microcosm of that in this hip hop beef. This microcosm of the powers that be. Power is looking to emerge. A new set of power is looking to emerge. And we're seeing the industry being shuffled. But like I said, my observation, this is not just happening at a rap level. There's a bigger picture happening. And it's good to pay attention to it. And like I do, or what I'm doing now, is you ask yourself, where do you fit into all of this? Where am I most needed in the world? I'm not talking about the rap beef, I'm just saying in general. Because at the end of the day, and I said this in another video, there's nothing we can do about these two grown men rapping. And it's definitely entertaining. But I went down the rabbit hole. So entertaining. I was up to 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning. But it's easy just to go down that rabbit hole and just get stuck there. But there is a bigger picture. There is a purpose. You have a purpose. And now's the time when everybody is confused, is when everybody's in chaos, this is the time when you have to build. This is the time you got to put your head down and you got to build. When everybody's looking this way, you need to be looking the opposite way. At least that's how I approach these type of things. Yes, I did allow it to entertain me. I was very much entertained. But at the same time, I'm aware of the game. I'm aware of the big picture. And this is when, the tides of power are shifting. And it's going to be those people that we haven't even heard about, like you and I, that are going to stumble into something and grow that something as we're in this crunch time. So wherever you're at, just know this is the time. This is the time. You may not even be into the rap beef. You may not know nothing about it. But whatever industry you're in, you can just look out at the world and see it seems like it's in turmoil. But history tells us, if we look at 100 years back, 200 years back, this is the greatest time of wealth building. Right now. This is the greatest time to focusing on your family. Right now. This is the best time to focus on your health. That's what I'm doing here, even though I didn't feel like coming. But I'm here, because now's the time. Now's the time. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox a little bit. But stay aware. Just stay aware. There's a line that Kendrick said on his last response, the one right after Drake did the one that's called Meet the Grams. And the last line that he said to Drake was just really interesting. He said, this is not about, I'm paraphrasing, you can go to genius.com to get the full lyrics, but I'm just thinking about this one part where he said, he kind of listed all the things that Drake was struggling with or allegedly struggling with. And he went as far as to say, this is beyond me beefing with you through rap. This is a lifelong beef that you need to have with yourself to become a better person. And I think that's the through line that this is all about. It's about growth. Like, the bigger voice is saying, are we gonna grow as a culture, or are we gonna stay stagnant in this, the way rap is right now? Not saying that, it's generational, so every generation has their own way of doing things. I get that part. And I'm not the guy that says, oh, I'm not that guy. I don't like what these kids are doing in hip hop. I'm not that guy at all. But as I'm reflecting on myself, I'm saying to myself, I'm gonna start a beef with myself. I'm gonna start a beef with myself to grow. And to grow out of, the bad habits, the bad decisions, all these things, this self-reflection. And that's what it really, what Kendrick did. And I'm not saying who won, and I'm not doing that. I'm just paralleling it to how I'm experiencing this beef and the mindset that I'm in right now and the maturity that I have right now of self-reflection, looking at the man in the mirror and changing the way, like Michael Jackson, changing those ways and grow. So I took that personally, and it makes me want to start a beef with myself. Like, come on, it's time to grow. It's time to grow. Didn't get a great workout today, but it was a workout. I did get something done. Like I always say, something is always better than nothing. I wanted to sweat a little bit more, but I think, like I said, I was up late last night. So I think that kind of affected how I actually entered my mindset going into the gym. So, today's done. I can always only look forward to tomorrow. I'll probably be here tomorrow again. So I'm really going to be gearing up to have a really good session tomorrow. So, peace. Here at Fruit Bowl, got myself some kind of explosion. That's really good right after my workout. I needed some. All the coffee shops are closed downtown. So the next best thing, a protein shake. Sometimes we don't really understand what's possible or what we can possibly do unless we take a risk and push the boundaries of what our whatever our status quo, whatever our status quo is. And one of the things that as I'm here thinking about, just doing some thinking, and one of the things I was thinking about is like when I get in a position where I'm stuck, I always say to myself, I need to do something radical. I need to do something radical. That's where this YouTube channel kind of was birthed out of. Like, I felt like things weren't moving the way I wanted them to move. I didn't have the, the ability to push things forward in the way I saw them push forward because I was dependent on too many people, things, resources, and what have you. But when I decided, like, you know what, I need to take a risk. I need to do something radical right now. And that's what I did. And I've been doing these YouTube videos almost for 4 years, maybe 5 years. It started off as just like with little 1-minute snippets that, I was working with college students and, I was wanting to figure out a way to bridge the gap working with them. And I did 200 and some YouTube videos. I did like 1-2 minute clips. So, and that was like what I'm doing now. But I didn't know at the time that I could do what I'm doing now, which I'm actually packaging these things as the way I'm curating my YouTube videos, the way I'm curating and documenting my content, it has more of a storyline. I didn't know I could do that unless I took that risk. And as I'm sitting here, like I said, on Saturdays, I'm trying to sharpen my axe. As I'm sitting here, I'm thinking again, okay, how can I push the boundaries even more? Because apparently, if this is possible, my goal, let me just put it out there, is to do 100 of these, 100 episodes. I'm already a quarter of the way there. I want to do 100 of them. And then at the end of the 100, I want to be able to see the growth. I want to be able to see, what the next steps are, in terms of like how to continue to not just grow the content, but grow myself. Because at the end of the day, I'm documenting the journey that I'm on, and bringing you inside of the journey. If you're interested to see how this all unravels, how it all plays out, and each time I'm getting a little bit more clear on the purpose, but it's still foggy. It's still foggy, but every time I put another one out and I get feedback back, things are starting to be a lot more clear. Because the cool thing about how I'm structuring this, I'll take a seat here. The cool thing about how I'm structuring this is I'm pairing it with, and I talked about this in the last episode, I'm pairing it with my craft of being an entrepreneur, being an investor in other companies, a consultant, advisor in different companies. I'm pairing that with YouTube because of the exponential. Before, I was doing what I'm doing now for years, but I was doing it off the radar. I didn't care about, broadcasting what I was doing. But now I'm pairing it together. So as you're watching things unfold, I'm watching things unfold, and it's almost like I get excited for the next day, um, because I'm just like surrendering to the process. I'm surrendering to the process. But I would never have known what was possible unless I took a risk, unless I jumped out of the plane and just start building it as you're flying out. And that's what makes this whole process of documentation exciting, and it gives you something to look forward to. And then also, and I don't try to do this too much. Also, you project out, um, like yesterday when I had that curveball. Last episode, if you look at I had that curveball. It's a crisis management. I'm just thinking like, wow, 5 years from now, I would love to be able to look back at that and say, hey, wow, I'm laughing at it. But I wouldn't have known what's possible had I not pushed my own boundaries. So push your boundaries. I know you have boundaries. I know you're where you're at, but challenge yourself to push your boundaries. Do that. I'm telling you, do it. Do it. So I'm packing up for today. Thank you so much for joining me on the journey. Like I always say, if there's something in the video that resonated with you, please share it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. I'll be hanging out in the comments for a little bit. If you don't have the time, give me a thumbs up. That way that allows the algorithm to know that, something great is about to happen. It's happening on the channel. With that said, peace.